Welcome back to Mortgage Markets and More. I'm your host, Peter D'Angelo. I hope you're all doing great today. We are going to look at where the best deals are in New Jersey, particularly for first-time home buyers, but this applies to everybody. We've been talking a lot about the inventory situation. I thought, let's dive in to where the best deals are in the state of New Jersey and where there's going to be some benefit for first-time home buyers. So let's take a look right now at the affordability hotspots. I'm going to go through, in my research, the best New Jersey towns for first-time home buyers. Starting off, this is going to be based on the median home sale price as of March, when the data was released, March of 2025. So starting off, number one, we're talking about Carteret, New Jersey in Middlesex County. Currently, median home sales price there is around $400,000. This area is hot right now because the waterfront is being revitalized. There's a new Manhattan-bound ferry terminal, and there's convenient highway access to get anywhere you need to in the state. So Carteret's our number one today. Number two, Elmwood Park here in Bergen County, a little bit closer to home for me. That median sales price is around $490,000. The highlights there in Elmwood Park: easy access to Route 80, you're right there. It's got a suburban setting, and there's pretty strong school performance. Next up, we've got Hackensack. Also in Bergen County, median sales price in Hackensack's $485,000. The appeal there in Hackensack is it's a nice urban-suburban blend. There's a significant amount of new development in the town, and there are walkable amenities in Hackensack. Beyond it being close to New York, good for commuters, and also great highway access to get anywhere you need to in the state or out of the state. Next up, we've got Bloomingdale, New Jersey, here in Passaic County. That's my home county there. $490,000 is the median home sales price in Bloomingdale. The charm there is that it's nice and quiet, it's got a rural-like feel, and it's got good starter home inventory. Starter homes are a difficult thing to find in this market right now, so Bloomingdale is a good spot. One little note on Bloomingdale, though, keep an eye out on the taxes. Tax rates in Bloomingdale just a touch higher, but still an amazing opportunity for those first-time home buyers, particularly considering that median sales price in the town. Now, lastly, we're going to talk about Union Township in Union County, New Jersey. Median sales price there is $483,000. The strengths that Union offers: very transit friendly, getting into Manhattan, getting out and about. There's a diversity of housing stock. We're talking about multifamily homes, single family homes, condos, things like that, and also a good school system. So these are the top affordable locations here in New Jersey that I wanted to just highlight a few that, one, I've had particular experience with the clients that I help, and two, just from my own experience, having been somebody who's shopped for a home in the state myself, and also people that I know living in these markets. I want to contextualize that with some data too for you. Now, there are some value standouts here that are worth an honorable mention. First, Gloucester City. This is down in Camden, New Jersey. Median sales price there is $228,000. The pros for that area is that it is among the lowest priced markets in the state, and it is 5.8% below the national average for the cost of living. So quite a bit more affordable down there. Next one up is Hightstown in Mercer County. That market has a median home sales price of $440,000, and the pros there is that the cost of living is 12.7% below the state average. It also has some historic charm, walkable downtown area. Lastly, in the valuable standouts, we've got South Jersey counties. Just wanted to give a shout out. Places like Camden and Gloucester. So the draw there is that they have a much slower home appreciation rate, which means there's less competition and then more generous incentives. So overall, you're still going to always see higher competition in the commuter towns. So places like Hackensack and Carteret, they could still have a competition. So this isn't to say there's not competition, but when we look at the median sales prices, there's some value here. With identifying these markets, Now let's move on to something that's a little bit more focused for our first-time home buyers. And this is just going to be a quick recap on some of the things that are available to you here in New Jersey. Benefits, first-time homebuyer programs. The asterisk before going into any of these things is that there are eligibility requirements. So you need to be eligible for these programs in order to take advantage of what they offer. I will say that everything that we're about to review are programs that we offer at rate. So if you have any questions specifically about them, or you would like to know if they apply to you and your situation, feel encouraged to reach out to me. You can find me on socials, direct message me, leave a comment, and I'll be happy to reach out to you and we can figure out what would be possible for you and your family. But let's first start talking about the statewide incentive programs. There's something called the New Jersey Housing Mortgage Finance Agency. They get funding every year to provide specialty loan programs, and that includes first-time homebuyer programs. So the standard first-time homebuyer program grants that are available through the NJHMFA, we're just going to call it the HFA moving forward here. Sorry for the alphabet soup. But the HFA, the standard grants up to $15,000, and it's interest-free and forgivable, but you have to have the property, live in it as your primary residence for 5 years. Once the 5 years is up, then that debt is forgiven and you don't have to pay that back. If you're within the 5 years and you look to do a cash out refinance or you look to sell the property, you're going to wind up having to pay that back. But it is still a benefit for first-time home buyers. There are eligibility requirements that have limitations on how much income you can be earning. And if you are over a certain threshold, you wouldn't be eligible for this program. Secondly, this is another big standout one, first-generation home buyers. So if you are the first generation in your family to purchase a home, there's an additional $7,000 grant available to you. The bonus for this is that it will help you to reduce lender fees and access discounted interest rates for both of these programs. But with the first generation buyer program, that's really powerful. You got $15,000 from the state plus the additional $7,000. That's powerful. That's covering more than your closing costs, very likely, and helping you out with your down payment significantly. There's also some local grant programs. This is difficult to speak to specifically, so I want to just keep it general for you. And as a note for these local grants, you're going to want to work collaboratively with your lending professional or with me to ensure how these grants work for your particular situation. But here's just a few as examples of types of incentives that are available. One of which I was alerted to just this past week by one of my financial advisors that I work with. There was some programs available in Bergen County that offer grants, and there are some guidelines as to what it takes to be able to access those grants. But that's one here in Bergen County I'm aware of. I know down in Camden County, there's up to $25,000 of forgivable assistance for income qualified buyers. That means falling below a certain threshold for your annual income. In Atlantic City, they're offering 10% of the purchase price plus $5,000 in closing cost support. And that's a very particular program. You're going to want to look into that more specifically for what they're offering down in Atlantic City. And then other counties, they have various levels of grants available. So there could be some local support. Loan options for first-time home buyers, other than these specialty programs, just generally speaking, first and foremost, the FHA loan, like we talked about last week in my deep dive video, we busted some myths. FHA loans permit for 3.5% down payment. It's a low down payment option, also some more flexible underwriting. But in addition to that, conventional loans, if you're a first-time home buyer, you can buy a home with as little as 3% down. So that's another option for you, keeping a low down payment option available to you. And then VA and USDA, if you are a veteran and you haven't purchased a home or you're a first-time home buyer, you have your entitlement from the Department of Veterans Affairs. That can help you to purchase a home with 100% financing. And then for USDA loans, this is more for rural areas. There is a program available there that gives you 100% financing on what you're purchasing. That is reserved to designated market areas. So you'll need to see if the property that you're interested in purchasing falls in one of those designated areas. Now let's look at the market trends. As far as New Jersey is concerned, we're going to compare this a little bit with national information that we've talked about in the past. But here's some key highlight stats. Looking from 2023 to 2025 here in New Jersey, 41% of New Jersey home buyers were first-time home buyers. That is much better than the national average. The national average is 32%. So we're doing pretty good here in New Jersey. It also makes sense. You think about proximity to New York. People who move out of New York when they're starting a family are finally able to buy their first home. New Jersey is a great place to do that. The median buyer income in New Jersey is $123,800. That's the annual median income for a buyer in the state. The age range is normally between 25 to 44. If we recall last year, the National Association of Realtors identified that the average first-time home buyer age in the country was 38. So this is falling in line with that when we consider that range. And the property type. Property types that were purchased, 74% of purchases are single-family homes. 58% of those are in suburbs, and 26% of those are in small towns. Recent market shifts in New Jersey to note are the fact that New Jersey home values rose around 18% from 2021 to 2023, and then they started to level off here a little bit in 2025. I know in past episodes we looked at it. It was in some markets of New Jersey, you were looking at cumulative annual growth rate on property values of upwards of 10% over the past 4 years, which is incredible. So there's been a lot of value increase, but things do seem to be leveling off a little bit right now. And the affordable towns are seeing increased interest because of the higher cost of financing and the higher cost of, quite frankly, everything these days. So some buyers that are getting priced out of the urban areas that they may be interested in purchasing, like your Jersey City area, Weehawken, North Bergen, all that Golden Coast, they're going to suburbs. They're, suffering maybe a longer commute. So the more affordable towns are still seeing quite a bit more competition. The trend right now is that we're seeing, like I said, some slower price appreciation, but there's no drop in home values that we're seeing. It's just that the growth rate isn't ripping high like 10% a year. We're probably on track right now based on the latest data, somewhere in that 3 to 5% range on average, and that's statewide. Hyperlocal markets, the numbers change quite a bit. So what are your takeaways here as a possible first-time home buyer? And if you're a real estate professional, this is great information for your potential buyers. So here's some of the key takeaways. Takeaway number 1, stack the assistance. Make sure that you do your research. Reach out to me if you've got questions. Find and identify all of the possible options that are available to you. Secondly, expand your search. Being flexible, being malleable with what your needs are for the property will wind up helping you tremendously in this competitive market, especially as we have low inventory. So looking at other towns, suburbs, looking at different property types, single family, sure, but also take a look at maybe multifamily, take a look at condos, take a look at townhomes. These are all different things that could help you to be more successful more quickly in this market. Partner, this is the third one, but it's very important. I don't mean to bury this in the list. Partner with a local agent. Local agents are so valuable to you because they know that market inside and out. They're going to be able to answer all your questions and much more efficiently get you the information that you need to be successful in this market. And then lastly, I'm going to say it again, stay flexible, making sure that you can be flexible in the terms of your offer, making sure you can be flexible with the properties that you're considering, with the different loan programs that could be available to you. Any flexibility that you have will translate to a more successful process in this market. That's it for me today. I hope you found this helpful. I'm going to be super thrilled to provide you with an update later on this week with the latest and greatest with what's going on with mortgage rates. But until then, I hope you all have a great rest of your week and take good care.